Yeah. Homework of this is already done, and the other one is the next homework. Homework is still working on. It's a menu. I think we did this menu last time, right? A little bit of this. So today we will look at the web search from Python. Have you worked? Anybody? Delvin, you've done, right? Web search.
The web search?
Not yet?
The web search,
I think that is a homework, right?
to load an URL
And then,
display the content, the text.
right.
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, you did it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. So this is a simple program that you can access any web page. Okay. After you have this, then we have to include this into the menu GUI program. So let's start with this. This is a simple dialogue-based web page access. Okay. So
Professor, I didn't understand the last line.
hold on, we will work on that. You are leading us. We are behind you. So, yeah, not sure. Paizo. Let's try with the Paizo. Yeah, Paizo is okay for this because there is no graphical user interface program. Oh, it's from somewhere. Display setting, duplicates. Duplicates. This guy is somewhere. Let me first unplug the VGA code so that I can. Okay, so I have only one. Okay, so when I bring this, okay, that is here, and then I'm going to plug the VGA so that they can see. All right. We'll close this file browser so we can see this more clearly. And while I'm working on this, I'm going to explain to you. By default, if you do import to URL lib, then your Python may complain. Meaning, if you do not have URL lib, URL library already imported, then you have to import it. You have to install it, right? The way that you could do is, I already explained it here. So what you need to do is to pip and then install URL lib. We can do that multiple times. Of course, no effect, but still okay, right? I think your URL lib is. Could not find the version that you. That's okay. I think this is already work. And then we can do URL equals, as an example, www.eecs.mit.edu/jobs. And then we need to make this like URL-like address, so that we can say URL address equals http:// and plus URL. Of course, you can type this directly in front of this, but that is okay in this simple program. But if you do that, the graphical user interface, then, and if you ask the user to enter the web address, then they're probably not giving you HTTP from the beginning, right? They start with www, not from http://. So we need to give this to, this is our service, right? It's a kind of service. So we can say service. After we have that, then we need to do, we can get URL lib dot request dot URL open, and then URL addr, right? And then we can save this to, say, my web access as a file, and then we can run it. Control Enter, then it says line 5, module URL lib has no attribute request. Okay, then we can import URL lib dot request separately and run. Name URL addr URL. Okay, typo. So we save this. Okay, so somehow we accessed, right? Accessed this web site, so that I can assign that object of MIT web page to my variable. We can say page, okay? And then I'm going to print it. Print page. Save and Control Enter. Then I have some objects. That object's returned to me, right? So what we need to do is that if you want, you can do page read. So I want to read it. So that this is a web page that I received from MIT web, right? So if I copy this and then save it Notepad, and save it, so all kinds of HTML code, and then name it, save as. In my class, you can say MIT EECS, Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and then HTML. And when I go back to my in-class MIT, this is MIT web page, right? There's some code that this guy does not have, because sometimes it refers to the MIT internal files somewhere there, but we do not have that, right? So from the point here is that this simple code brings the web page in our Python script. Okay, if you access to, for example, Yahoo Finance web page with a specific stock symbol, then you can bring in all the stock information about that stock symbols, similarly to this, right? So once you have this, then back here, what we need to do is that this web page is not it's not readable, right? Well, it is readable, but we cannot see it clearly. So because it has a lot of HTML tags, for example, slash footer and slash div, and some command and some other new line, and all kinds of such things which we are not interested in. We are interested in only the content. So how can we extract the text only from HTML files? If you want to display text only, plain text only from HTML files, it is almost impossible. There is no multi-purpose Python modules available that can handle all different kinds of HTML pages. Therefore, you can also only display text. It is almost impossible. Why? Because each web server has different kinds of metadata, different kinds of functions and all different things used. There are a lot of different software packages that can generate the web pages. Okay, not many web servers not using software packages, but simply coding. For our web page, scitesecure.org, there is just coding. We don't use any other the web page software packages. Okay, but anyway, in order to extract, then we need to import. What we need to do is that we need to. The best way is that there are two ways that we can do HTML to text. I tried it with this, but this is not really good. Therefore, I tried something else. This. Okay, so let's try with that. So from BS4, import beautiful soup. Beautiful soup, that is very long, so we want to make it short. So BS. Okay. And then what we need to do is that we can do BS, and then we can tell to BS, oh, hey, what we want is HTML content, and I want you to use to parser, particular HTML parser, to parse this HTML content should be, say here, HTML. What you can do is you can simply make this here. Unless you really need twice, then we can ask beautiful soup to cook the web content that we bring in and scan, which is page.read. According to HTML parser, then that is a soup, right? And then we can simply do print we can do I want to send this to soup, for example. Okay, that beautiful soup, the outcome of this beautiful soup is assigned to soup, so that I can simply print to soup. See what happens. Okay, so run. And then I received a little bit of is there something better than before? I think it's something better than before, right? Hopefully. But we can tell that the difference if we okay here, so that I can copy this all the way here, and then to our HTML file. Is it something that, yeah, here, if I switch this to the file that I just make, and then I can save it as all mit.html and save. Yes. Again, come back here. If I rerun this, but this guy takes so long. This is simple local HTML. Okay. So this is much better than this is more like text only, right? Previously we have a lot of ugly code, but now this is text only. Much better, right? That you can tell. So what we make a soup using Beautiful Soup is to extract the text, but still it doesn't look good. So what we need to do is that we use, for example, prettify the soup. So soup has a prettify, pretty, T-T-I-F-Y, prettify, which one? Everything. So everything in that list, and then I also encode it to UTF-8, which is ASCII code that we all understand, right? So if you do this and save, then outcome will be much better. Not really in this case, but it should be in reality. Okay. Hold on. What's this program? Right. So we don't really need this. In the text, we don't really need this. We didn't use that here. This is the content of that code. Okay. All right. So if you send some other, let's try to do simple department website. For example, CS Columbia.edu. Okay. Some has better website. This one is not really that. Okay, so this web page is much easier to read than the source. Source code has a lot of unrecognized the code included. So using this, you can do your homework much easier, better.
Professor, in your demo, the video that sent us,
Mhm.
see
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Video demo is much, for example, this is a part of the demo. If I do this, then you can enter what URL that you want. Google is too simple. Google, then Google is here, right? And then you can do load. How come this is simple then? How come we have this one has a lot of internal view source. Let's see. Wow, the Google web server first page. This is the first page, right? This is a text. Therefore, that we have here first a lot of numbers, right?
Because for me,
You can compare this, and this is a real source. In the source, we eliminate many of those, but this is a text, so that is included. So we extract the text, but not really 100% text that we can see. If you really receives here, this is an image, so we don't get Google. This is an image. I think this is button, so it is not also something that you can see. There's nothing that you can see here, right? If you do it Google.
yeah, we can, Professor, because I could get only the text. Not
Yeah.
the,
So you got only text.
only the text, only Google search.
So which did you use a Beautiful Soup or something else?
No. I use also, and I use the function get text.
Beautiful Soup has a get text function. Oh, let's try that. Okay, let's try.
Instruction.
Here, get text. Let's do this. Okay. Print soup.get text. Oh yeah, we have to get text. Get text. Oh, that is advanced. So I don't want to do this. I'm going to comment that out. It's not really.
No, I mean it's get underscore text. It's not get.
Okay. Small text. I see that.
I mean, it wasn't really that easy because I need to first.
It depends on the website. I'm using here www.cnn.com. So if I do Google, then still Google doesn't do that. Anyway, that is the reality, because each web server has different kinds of service engines and generates the text with a lot of multimedia contents. So there's no such almighty. Which one?
CNN works for me.
Let me see yours. great. What is the code?
There was a better way to do it. For me,
What is the code?
I kind of. I just did some construction.
Oh, the GUI is a little different. If you see GUI, yeah, GUI. You see here. Yeah. So that is good, the way that you did. CNN sunblock.
HTTPS instead of HTTP.
No, CNN can accept HTTP, HTTPS, anything. Right? Hold on. I didn't do HTTPS. Okay. All right. That is your homework assignments. So include this into your one of the menu. Okay. And then the parse, HTML parse is very similar to this. This is a simpler version. Which one? Oh, that's what we want to do today. Okay. As I explained in this textbook somewhere earlier, right? Let me point that out. Somewhere, menus. Where did I say? In the textbook. There are many ways that you can, oh here. Is this the one? Okay. Data can be read from file. That's what we did the last time, right? Oh. For example, Okay. Let me try 9. Right? Here we have 3 tabs. These 3 tabs is not really exclusive, but I brought 3 possible sources that you can use the data in your Python, in your Python graphical user interface. First tab is to bring the data from your local file. Second one is to bring it from the URL. So there are a lot of URLs available. Third one is from database. Okay, database. We're going to learn database in April, not in March, in late April. And we're going to learn the concept of database and a little bit of a language, database language. And after that, we will do what and how the Python language can do to manipulate the database. Okay, so I described those 3 possible sources that you can use in your Python that I explained here, and therefore I ask you to do bring the web data into your Python system, and then the homework number 3 is to bring this code into your graphical user interface. I didn't give that to you, but you could do that in the way that you have the source code somewhere here, right? It's not much different from there because I gave you already this code. And then lastly, see, I have a lot of student interaction. I don't have my own life. Believe it or not, I think cybersecurity program head is one of the most busiest position at Mercy College. I'm talking about the entire Mercy College. So I would like to resign. This is too much work. But anyway, we're going to learn database technology. But we cannot wait until the database technology comes, because we are now working on the Python, the language itself. So assuming that yours is available, I mean, the database is already created, okay? But I'm going to post that in our sciencesecure.org website. The database that I created, the creation is simple, right? Once you know that. For example, here, the first menu is to create database, and second one is population. So you can populate more data and more data into it. And then finally, this graphical user interface in Python context is to show how your Python graphical user interface can do to database. Okay, so only one menu is implemented right now. So if you click this selection, then it can give it to you. I have this many data there. Originally, the code that I give to here, and if you bring this into into your graphical user interface, then if you click this, it gives you like this. Okay, but if you massage a little bit, then you can have tabs in between. You see the difference, right? This and previous. Previous is much nicer, right? If you do this, then I have columnized, right? Column, first column, second and third, fourth, and so on and so forth. If you want, okay, for your extra credits, if you want to make, for example, even line number 2, 4, 6, whatever the lines, you can highlight it differently from the other lines, so that user can see it quickly, right? This line is different from the following. Highlighted. That is a little bit possible, but not really accurately, but it is really okay. All right, so that'll be your next homework assignments. Okay, so next homework assignments is very related to your current homework assignment. Homework assignment 3 and 4 are very similar. So 4 is not yet given. I didn't decide. If I decided to give you homework 4 from as an extension of homework 3, then this will be. Okay? So manipulate database. Or, because we're going to switch ours to, see here a little bit of highlights, so you can use this somehow, the highlights of those. The animation. Okay, so we're going to work on animation today. What is animation? Animation is a part of graphical user interface, right? Python can do for animation. If you use a tool to generate animation, then tool provides you the underlying engine. But Python, particularly if you use tkinter, then tkinter does not have underlying engine that can move some objects on your canvas dynamically. Okay, so everything should be done manually in your coding list. So you have to code it. So a little bit of hectic, right? So as you can see here in this example, this is a simple example, right? That's what we are going to do today. So we created a class. As you can see here, we created a class called the bubble, and then in your Python programs, we simply execute bubble by giving two numbers, 450 and 200. I believe this is the size of the canvas, right? So if you see here, class bubble, and then this is a constructor definition, right? Def init. That's a constructor definition. As we did the last time, by default it has a self followed by two parameters, width and height. Width and height, those two values are given when this class is first constructed. So this is an object construction based upon the definition here in this init. Okay, so that's what we want to do together. Okay, so I'm not going to do let's try to do the new let's try to do in Notepad, okay? Therefore, Mac users can also understand better. So this is not. I'm going to close this. Do you have any other Notepad? This is Notepad. I'm going to make a new. Okay. So this is Notepad. If you do Notepad, then you need a command line so that you can execute it, right? So I'm going to make this like this. We'll run that. All right. So let's try. So we need to import, right? tkinter import everything, and then class. Let's call it bubble. Objects. In a class, we might have multiple functions to define. One of the special function is the constructor. If it is a constructor, then we simply use init, right? This is very similar to the class definition in other language, for example, Swift. Self is, if many times you better to use self. Self is yourself. Self means self of an object. For example, an object is constructed based on a class constructor. So one object. Okay, and another object also constructed based on the same init function of a class, the same class, same init function. But we have two or more different objects. Sometimes we want to see, I want to work on your objects only. In that case, that is a self. Okay. So this init function is used to construct an object itself. It's not talking about other objects, but a specific object with the width and height. W and H is your local variable. So you can name it on your own. It's not really W, but you can do height, we and he, whatever. And then you can do, in that particular object's self, then you can create basic function, TK. Then self, and then you can also create canvas. Canvas should be in the root, the size of not just the root but self root in this case. And then we can give width and height. Width is something that we received here. So WI is given to the width because we only first parameter is the fixed. So we don't need to say here basic window equal self root. We don't do that. Only the first parameter is fixed to recognize. All others variable and value pair. For example, variable is width and value is WI. This WI is given here. And WI, more precisely, it is given, for example, 200 and 500. WI, when we construct, this is object construction. When you construct an object of a bubble, because this init function requested two variables, width and height, we need to give these two. If we do not give these two, then we will have some problem. If you do not want to give these two, then what happens? Then you should not do this, but you can say simply here 200 and height equal 500. Okay, it's up to you. And then we have to do a lot of work on this canvas. So we need to have self can equal canvas. So this canvas is assigned to an object. So we can play on this self can. Self can pack self can. Okay, and then self can, and then we can create oval 20. This is the initial upper left corner, and 100 and 100. Then there is a lower right corner, and then if I want to fill that in red, then there is a red circle. After we have that, then self dot can dot pack. We could one more time pack. Not always needed, but just for sure. And then we can do main loop. Okay, see what happens. So we need to save this as in any type my bubble.python py and save. Then I can run that here. My bubble not here. My bubble. So this is my bubble. Looks ugly, right? I want to make this little landscape orientation. Then width should be higher than that. So 500 and 200. Then be better. 500 and 200. Instead of this, if you want to make it parameterize, then say W and H, and then put that in here, init declaration, and then bubble needs to have that 300, 500, and 300. Okay, then we'll have. You could have more bubble, so that, for example, 60, and then 120, fill blue. And I have question now is, how can we animate it? How can I move this, for example, whatever, right? This should be run somehow in something. How can I do that? To do that, yeah, it is an iteration, but how fast? How slowly? So it needs a time module needs to be imported. So we need to, according to the system time, we can say, oh, I want to move this to every second. That is the way that we could do animation. If you want to do, for example, oh, I want to redraw this here and here and here in iteration, then there should be a lot of work. Why? If you want to redraw this, then you have to erase this and redraw. A lot of work needed. Therefore, we have to think of, is there any possible, because this is a canvas, right? Any possible functions available? Okay, so let's take a look at that together. The web page, Python tkinter, and then we can say canvas, and then move our objects. See here, there are three possible matches: Python tkinter, canvas, and move objects. Right? So let's try to do move. Python move a ball inside the tkinter canvas. A lot of those, but I want to see canvas. Okay, canvas. Maybe this is an example. You can use many of these as you wish. I'm trying to find out the function move. Okay, here. So we have a function move. Okay. So this particular web page explains it to move matching item. So we need to have some item. Right now, our program, this oval and that oval, we need to have a variable to hold that item. Therefore we can use that item accordingly in this the definition, right? Definition of move. So we need to have an item and dx dy. The item specified. Dx is a horizontal offset. So dx and dy are the offsets. So first thing that we need to do is that we need to hold it. Self red bubble, and then self blue bubble. Okay. And then we have to run it continually. And as I said, for that we need to import time. To make it more effective, we need to make a one of separate function called, let's say, animation. You can name it, right? Whatever you want. And then this animation should be called in your after function. After 0 second, I want to do self animation. I want to execute self animation function. That is this. Okay. After 0 second. So once it is on, then it should work. But if you put here, for example, let's try to 0 first, and then we can put some number. What are you going to do in your animation? That is what we are going to do here. First thing that we need to do is for loop. So while true. So continually, what we will do is that say for I in, hold on, I'll get back to you. 0 and 50, and then we can do time dot sleep. It's not how quickly it moves, that type of things. So 0.2 millisecond. Sleep, if we do 20, not 10, then 10 milliseconds. So in this for loop, first we sleep that short period of time, and then move. Self can dot move. This move function of the first parameter is the item that we want to move, so red B. And then how much do you want to move? Then okay, this is not just red B because we said the self.red B, so self.red B, and I want to move 10 and 10. I don't know what it is, but that's what I did, and let's see how it works. What is see? Oh, I didn't close the previous ones. That is the reason. Let's see. What? Okay. So the problem here is that it does not. See, what happens here is that when I do this right now here, it doesn't show to me. So what we need to do is that self dot can dot, that's an update function. Okay? So that one should be, oh, it's not updated. Is it too much split? Okay. Too much slip. Because it selected too much. What happens here? So red bubble moved but disappeared. Is it really disappeared or is still moving? It's still moving, right? It still moves. What I did is that I want this red bubble to move 10 pixels 10 pixels to right, 10 pixels to lower, continually. But if I want to, how many times? 51 times. But if I want to move it and see what happens 5 times only, then we can see more clearly. So, 5 times, but continually. This is reset and redo continually. That is the reason, right? But if we do this, let's say, stop there, right? 5 times only, because I commented that out. What is the best way that, let's make this 15 so we can see more clearly. Somewhere here. Or if you want to move this to horizontally only, then only to x offset of x-axis is 10, and there is no offset along vertical lines. Then you can see here it moves that and stop there. What is a real animation? When it comes to certain points, it should come back, and when it comes to certain point, it should also bounce back and forth, right? It should be done manually. Or you can make it a more intelligent way if you move this, then accordingly it expanded. Somehow you need to figure out where it, when is the point that it can push back. Okay, that needs to be done. In our textbook coding, therefore, if you see here, this range is measured a little bit, so it moves 51 times. And then we change the flag. So flag 0 or flag 1. So if it is flag 0, then it moves to right. Flag 1, it moves to left. See here, negative sign. The offset is negative. Somehow we need to give a proper number. It's not, cannot be done automatically. See, Tkinter animation is possible only if you design it in all details. So let's try to do here in this particular ones, and then you can. How many? See how many? So 15, right? If we do 15, then it moves up to here. So this may be 30, and if I do 40, see what happens. So I'm going to make it 40. Oh, lucky. And then we switch the flag from the other, right? So now we can do. So initially we can do flag equals 0, and then if it is done, then we can say flag again here, if flag equals 0, then we do this for loop. And once we done, then we can say flag is not reset to 1, else then we need to do similarly to this, but we have to be very careful to do, this should be negative and this should be 0, right? We need to set it back to that, and see what happens. Oh, it's a little bit. Left margin is not really, touching. So why that is that problem? Little better, right? I think it moves more and more to left. Oh, because it's a different number. It should be the same number. If you do 40 times this way, then 40 times that way, so that it continually does that. Only that is because it started from 20 to 20. So if we do 10 and 10, then it may be a little different, right? So this is detail massaging. Yeah, a little better. In the same way, can you make that red bubble vertically?
Yes.
Do it. So I'm going to give it to you, this code. Okay. And I want you to do it now.
Which color?
Hmm?
Which color?
Yeah. I want you to, this red bubble to horizontally and blue bubble vertically bounce back and forth.
Without touching themselves?
Without what?
Without touching themselves?
They may touch, right? See the touch it. Or you want to, if they meet, then bounce. That's really good. And then according to the angle it touches, it bounces differently, like a pool ball.
I'm saying
What
it
is-
doesn't touch himself like that.
Yeah, you can make some creative. Do it creative. I'll give you 20 minutes. And I want to see how yours is working.
do you know that you have to, when you click enter, you have to open web browser and open the URL. In the unit, you click enter.
Enter and it opens automatically.
I didn't know that. So I found a way to do that. So can I
Sure.
send my
Always.
How? By email?
Yeah. Definitely.
By email?
Right now, our program bounced only like constant, only according to the constant number. Like 40 times move, then we change it, which is not really good, right? So instead of this for loop, yeah, it should run for loop or continually another while loop. It moves continually, but when it comes to, for example, x coordinates the size of 500, or x coordinates 0, then it switch the moving direction. Similarly, y coordinates, if it closer to 300 or close to 0, then it switch the moving direction. There's another way that you can do, right? If you do that, then it's not necessarily horizontally and vertically, but it can move anywhere, so that it moves anywhere so that it can bounce. There's some such games, right? Very olden the computer games is doing that. And also you can make some bricks up here so that you have one ball, it moves, bounce, and you hit that, then bricks disappears, and then you can break the bricks. Shakes, I think you're interested in, right? So a little bit of extension of this idea will be what is the name of that game? Brick breaker? Something like that, right? Brick wall breaker. I think instead of homework 4 as an extension of homework 3, I'm going to make animation on my own, like a brick breaker, and I'll give you the demo. So do you. Is it good? Another one is that then you can check the time. So how fast that you can, because time is given already, right? You can check the time. So how fast that you can break all of those bricks. Now you know? You want to play? I'll give you $1. That's very old game. When I was young, like you were 18, on the streets, where was that? And after that, there is a lot of fight as well, like the farming. So you can move back and forth and shoot. It evolves that way. So it starts from this.
But it needs minimum line of code.
Oh yeah, of course.
Who has the patience? Now you see the game is so developed.
No, once you have some idea of this, then this is the basic fundamental skill, right? So with this skill, if you have a good idea, then you can make some change. So did you have? Okay. Next step is that not really based upon this flag change based upon the fixed number here, right? So always a fixed number. This. But you need to check, every time it moves, you need to check the position, the coordinate of the current position. And if the current position hits the boundaries, then you can shift the movement direction. Think about it. In this,
events. Events, something like that? To know the current position.
I don't know. Find out on canvas. Because we are working on canvas, right? Everything should be on this canvas. See here move?
Yeah.
Somewhere there is also a canvas function. Wow, this is good. This bubble, red bubble, do you see my cursor here? X coordinate, Y coordinate is depicted. So because you have this, you can use more intelligent way of bouncing off. So this is, look at this, this grows to, this is reduced. Increase, decrease, increase, decrease. This is the upper, what is it? 10, 10, 10, 100. Upper left and lower right corner. Right. Hmm? 10 or 100, that is, Y coordinate is fixed. The red ball, red ball's Y coordinates is always fixed. So X coordinates moves. So first two number here, that is here, that is upper left corner, that is a lower right corner. But they are the same. Same ball, but the two coordinates displayed. So, so you can by looking that, if it reaches to 500 or 0, then we can turn the direction. Then we do not need to worry about setting this number, range number, right? So forget about this for loop. If you want to move them really quickly, see what happens? If you want to make this, then they move so quick. Which one did I change? I changed the sleep time, very short sleep. If I change this to, for example, longer sleep, 0.5, this is a little more dynamic. When it moves to positive direction, slowly, and then returning is faster than that. Watch. Returning is faster. it's too much. Right? This may be reasonable. Better, right? I want to have some animation feeling. I think this is everything that I want to do with you for animation. Yeah, one animation is good. What else we could do for Python? I'm going to check our schedule. How many weeks have we had so far? Python. The weeks left so far is in March we have 3 weeks because the last week is a spring break. So 3 weeks in March, and then April we have 4 weeks. In between we have 1 week for your midterm exam. So 3 weeks, 3 weeks. I think this is a good time that we finish up our Python programs. Okay, so probably we'll do network from the next week.
Next week. Midterm will be end of the March?
No, before the March.
Oh.
Let's decide it out. In 2 weeks? In 3 weeks? That should be done in March. I'm going to give you the take home, so you can do that home. In the midterm, you don't need to come, so no class here. Instead, you can take home. You can take that exam at home, or you can come here to take. It's a Blackboard based.
It's like an assignment or this is the first semester?
It is. It's going to be filling in the blanks of coding list. For example, I can give you, here's what I want to do. So you can fill in the blanks to complete. Or I can give you some code, what is the output. Then may not be good, right? If I may change, yeah. For example, what is the output, number one? And can you change that output to certain way so that you can modify, you can tweak the code? So I can ask you, I want to test you how you could tweak the given coding list so that you can have the proper output. Something like that. Okay. I think this is it for today's class. So Python code, the language itself is done, but we, as I said earlier, we continue to work on Python language. Whatever we do, for example, from next week we will work on network. We still do Python. Operating systems still do Python. Database, still Python. You looked at the Python demo, right?
How
Minutes ago.
Python handle the database? How Python handle the database.
Correct, yeah. How Python can create database, how Python can insert data into database, how to retrieve data. Everything can be done in Python. Okay? Done. Any question? Okay. So basically what you learned in Python as a summary, the language itself so big. We don't touch all language, but we see, oh, there are some languages available, and therefore how to look it up. How to look up? Google, right? That's the best way and easiest. And if you want to import new package, we learned how to import the packages. And then logic expression includes if statements so that we can make a decision, or iteration so that we have a while loop and for loop, and then we create a class. It's a class definition, and then we know how to construct an object. And then a lot of graphical user interface. So basically in the graphical user interface, we looked at two containers, frame and canvas. Canvas, as we do today, you can do you can make animation or some drawing stuff can be done on canvas. Many others to interact with the users. So user enter some values and you can return some others. Then you need to use frames, and frame can contain menu, for example. That's what we did. Frame can contain subframes, so that you can generate, you can organize the graphical components in a subframe which is contained in another sub, right? The one good example is the temperature converter example. Okay, that is it, and I'm going to stop today, and then next week we will do network. Not just a network, but network in Python. All right? So I'll see you next week.